This is Greg Canty here, and welcome to the Win Happy podcast. Stay tuned for interesting chats with interesting people about winning their lives and being happy at the same time. This show has been brought to you by Fusion Communications. Thanks for listening. On today's podcast, I chat with Saiphin Moore, the founder of the successful Thai chain of restaurants across the UK, Rosa's Cafe. In part 1, I chat with Saiphin about the village in Thailand where she grew up, her love of cooking, and her first little food business at the age of just 14. She also chats about the move to Hong Kong, to Jersey, a return to Hong Kong, and then to London, where she started all over again, opening a little food truck in a Sunday market. Let's hear from Saiphin. Saiphin Moore, a huge welcome to the Win Happy podcast. How are you doing?
I'm very well, thank you.
I'm in London in October, and my friend Roger tells me tonight you're meeting a very, very special friend of mine, Saiphin, and we're meeting her in her restaurant, Rosa's Thai Cafe. We end up meeting this beautiful woman who has a chain of restaurants. And the thing that amazed me was you were so enthusiastic about getting us to taste everything. The respect that the team had when you came into the restaurant. But it was a nice, warm respect. It wasn't, oh my God, I'm afraid of her. It was a nice, warm, friendly, you're part of my team respect. And I know you're doing this a long time, but the passion and the enthusiasm and everything else. And of course, we ended up having a great night and we had loads of fun and all that kind of stuff. So I said, I have to have this woman on the podcast and to hear about her story.
Okay.
So, a question I ask everyone is, who the hell are you and where did you come from?
My name's Saiphin Moore. I am from Thailand, and but now I live in London.
It was a little village in Thailand where you grew up, isn't that right?
I grew up from the very, very small village up north of Thailand. It's the place called Phetchabun.
Phetchabun.
Yeah.
Is that in the country or is it a town or where were you living?
It's a province called Phetchabun, but the district is called Khao Kho.
Yeah.
It's very like in a hillside.
Okay, so you weren't living in the middle of the town, you were living...
in a very, very small village.
What did your mum and dad do?
My parents is the farmer.
Well, they're farmers, okay.
Yeah, so we are growing all kind of vegetables.
My knowledge of farming would be in an Irish context. And I know anyone who works on a farm, it's not a 5-day-a-week, 9 to 5. It's a 7-day-a-week job. Was that the same for you and your family?
Like we don't have a day off. Yeah, very early mornings and then finish very late.
Do you have brothers and sisters?
I got one brother and then 2 sisters, and I'm the second one.
So there were 4 of you. I presume you had to work on the farm just like your brothers and sisters, did you?
Yes, I do. I start working at the farm very young age. I start working in the farm with my parents when I'm just only 6 years old. So as the time goes, our parents or our mom or our grandma has always trained us to do the cookings from the early start.
Did you like work?
I love working. Love everything. I cannot just sit down, do nothing. Put it that way.
Where did this work gene come from?
My parents is very hard working person.
Yeah.
I think it's because our culture, we have to work for our own living, because as a farmer, you can't just do nothing. We growing the vegetables and every 3 months harvest. So if we don't work, we don't have income, put it that way.
That's a very simple lesson in life, isn't it?
It is, yes.
Would you call your dad, I know he was a farmer, would you call him an entrepreneur?
Actually, my mom is an entrepreneur
Ah,
because
okay.
my mom is always set up. She's always growing the vegetable and sell. She never let the middleman come between her. I remember my mom, she calculate everything on her head. And she knew that, if she growing this and then how much she's going to make. She's always have a business mind. I think I learned it from my mom.
So when you were young, obviously you were listening to all of these conversations and learning.
Yeah. I remember we have the buyer come to our farm, when the harvest time, and they're trying to bargain with my mom. My mom would never let that happen. Don't bargain with me because this is I target. I set up the price for £10. You cannot tell me that you wanted to buy for £8. And she said, I have to pay for this. I have to pay for that. And I some kind of remember that my mom's told this guy, do you know how much that we spend on labor and water and, fertilizer and things like that? She's calculated everything. And then she's the one who set up the price.
So if she was weaker, there's a good
Yeah.
chance the income in the family would be maybe 30% less.
Yeah.
It's funny that you say that. There's a good friend of mine and he works in food production. They sell their products to the big supermarkets. And everything that you're saying, and it's not the farm, but the supermarket is the buyer.
Yeah.
And the supermarket now is telling my friend, well, this is the maximum we can sell your product for. And we must make this margin. So you have to sell it to us for, I don't know, whatever price. And he's saying, this is crazy. I can't make money like that. And I think for some reason, food has become this huge thing. It's like a commodity. And the person at the bottom of the chain seems to be the one that's suffering all of the time. But obviously your mother wasn't going to allow that to happen.
No, we don't allow that happen because we don't sell to a supermarket. We sell it to the buyer. And then the buyer just take it and then they basically trying to buy it from us as a wholesale, and they can make a little money. They didn't sell it to a supermarket in that time. All they do, they just sell it to a third party. So I think my mother know exactly what they're going to try to sell it to other people. So we give them some profit that they can make. We knew if they buy it from us like £10, and then he probably go and sell only £11 because, they can't make more money than that, because if they sell it to other third persons, those guys still have to make some money. So we just only plus 111. You can't just plus 5 for a long-term business.
Everyone needs to make money.
Yes, everyone needs to make money, but you cannot just too greedy.
What kind of vegetables would be grown on the farm?
I am growing some kind, like every seasoning vegetables. Example, we will go the cabbage. And then when the harvest time finish, we're growing the carrot and the broccoli and coriander, and then, spring onions and garlics, all of those things.
So the land was your friend and you just needed to know what to grow on the land throughout every season, so you had a good income. Was it a lot of land, or did you need a lot of land to have a living in Thailand?
Actually, my parents own a lot of land in Thailand.
Okay.
Yeah, so we have our own land, so we don't rent the land from anyone.
When you were younger, the conversations around the dinner table with you and your mum and dad and your brothers and sisters, what used you talk about at the table?
We are talking so many things when we're sitting around the table. Most of it is how can we growing a better products. I remember that I sat down with my parents, and then she's always, my dad, my mom always said, okay, this year seemed like so many people growing garlic. Can we grow something else? And then we just sit there and we're trying to change the way we are growing our vegetables because it seemed like everyone growing the same things. And the price, when the harvest time, we cannot bargain with the price because it's so many cabbage, I put it that way. So my parents is always growing different things from them. Yeah, so we're sitting down and we always have a conversation about, growing things. And I don't have a conversation about my going out life because when I was little girls, I never go out. And all I do is just go to school and then back and do the farming with my parents.
When you were in school and when, for whatever reason, the teacher wasn't holding your interest and you started to dream, what would you dream of?
I always have my own dream to doing some things on my own. When I'm at the school, I'm not a clever girl in the class. I'm probably very dumb. but when I'm in my class, I'm always the one that the teacher always asks me a question. And I just don't like it because I'm keep myself at the back. My teacher is always, Saiphin, what this mean and this? And then I'm just sitting there and I say, why is it always me? Why you always ask me? And then in the classroom, I'm always want to be the leader of the class, but I would never reach that. Never. Yeah, never.
What was your first business adventure?
My first adventure business is when I'm about 6, 7 years old. My parents had a tractor for the farm. And we, in that time, I think I'm about 9 years old. Yes. And I never had a TV before. And next to my school, there is a teacher. They got the TV. So I'm always go and watch the TV in their house. So we don't have electricity though. And all we use in that time, they have this, they use the battery from the car to tune into the TV. And we watch the TV from that. And it's about 9 years old, I remember that. My dad had a tractor because in that time we make quite a bit of money. And I help my parents. There is the shop that sell TV, fridges, all of these the products that use electricity, but we don't have electricity. But myself, I made quite a bit of money in that time. And I went down and bought the TV, which is so stupid of mine because we don't have electricity anyway. And I asked my dad, because we got the tractor, can we use a battery from your tractor watching the TV? And then he said, yes. And then he said, but that is cost money because, we use a lot of fuels because we have to start the tractor to generate electricity. And then I said, I tell you what, Dad, I got a lot of friends here want to watch TV. I can charge them money. And then we pay for the fuels for you. And then actually it's worked. Yeah. So all my friends put the money in the little box for me. And then we use that money to buy the fuels. Yeah. So we can watch the TV only once a week. So that is my first ever business. Charging my friends for watching TV.
Well, it was a good creative way of solving a problem, and I'm sure your friends were happy. And the types of things you would look at, was it a natural thing in Thailand to look to the kind of Western world for, like, I know in Ireland when we grew up, it was like America. America was the amazing place. For you growing up in Thailand, what were you watching? What were the places that you used to dream about? Was it the same or was it different things you were influenced by?
I never dream of going to other country. And I never know there is other country at that time. I only knew that I live in Thailand and that's it. I don't even know the neighborhood like Laos, Cambodia, or, I don't really think of going to other country. until I was about 17 years old. I sit on the farm and help my parents growing the vegetables. And I saw so many, I didn't know that it's airplane either, going, flying over my head, and I look at it. And I'm just thinking, what on earth, what is that? I don't even know that it's airplane. Yeah, I never dream of going to another country until, I heard from the radio.
And even your parents, were they just happy to head down, keep working, raise a family, keep working, raise a family, just that cycle of life?
Yeah, that is a circle of life.
Yeah.
That is and I think they expect their children do the same things.
Yeah.
Yeah, but their children like me it's not going to be like that, because I'm always doing my own things.
Yeah. And the love of cooking, where did that come from?
My cookings come from my grandma. She will wake up at 5 o'clock every single day and knocking by the door and tell us to wake up the same time, a very early age. And oh my goodness, I tell you, the teenage want to sleep, but never sleep, because she's always wake up us banging the door and then tell me, okay, time to get up, cooking rice, and make some food and send it to your dad and your mom up to the farm. That is our job.
Yeah, and she saw that as being a job.
Yeah, she think that is our job, as a job, as a cooking.
Yeah. When I was young, Saiphin, the food was something you needed it for energy. You put it inside you. You had no appreciation of it. When you were younger, did you have an appreciation of food? Did you enjoy food?
I enjoy food. Yeah, I enjoy every minute of making the food for people. And I'm always cook for my friends when I'm very young age.
Oh, even for your friends?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so you were very popular.
Yeah, I don't understand why all my friends wanted to come to see me all the time. I had no idea in that time. And I realized that, it probably maybe because they have a free food. Because I love cooking. And I cook and I just like to feed people. Yeah.
Yeah. So before moving to Hong Kong, when you were still in Thailand, did you open a business in
Yes,
Thailand?
I am. I opened my first noodle shop as I was about 14 years old.
And was that in your local town?
In my parents' house.
In your parents' house?
Yes. So the bedroom on the top, and then the bottom floor is a shop. So I turned my mom's house into the noodle shop. And it's very popular because I love noodles in that time. I love noodles. And my parents, I can see that every day I have to go into the shop and buying food, the noodles from other people's shop. And you think about it, because I eat noodles so much and I just learn how they cook. I can just go and look at it, the way they put the broth together, and I just went there quite often to help or to look at them set up the shop in the morning. And that is how I pick up all the ingredients going into the broth. So when I set up my own business, I learned, and I think I nicked their recipe, and then use it in my version. Yeah. And since then, when I opened my little shop, 14 years old, and all my friends who are in the school will, after the school, they don't have their lunch, and they always wait for me to open my shop, and then they will come and buy the noodle for me before they head home. But they keep their money to buy the noodle for me. So when I set that business, I will wake up really early and go and do my shopping and set up the shop, and then go to school and then come back at 3 o'clock. And then I open my shop. Yeah. So that is my first business.
I had a business at 14 as well. I had a newspaper round. Not as exciting as a noodle shop, but a little shop closed down, and all the people who used buying newspapers from the shop, we contacted the local newspaper. Could they deliver the newspapers to our house instead of the shop? So before I went to school, lots of my neighbours got newspapers, and when I came home from school, there used to be an evening paper. Yeah, so I delivered newspapers from the age of 14, or actually from 13 to 21, believe it or not. And were you making money?
Yeah, I make. In that time, I remember so well, 700 baht per day. That is about how many years ago? That's a long time. Yeah, 700 baht a day. I counting my money, and then I'm just so happy. Yeah.
And did people think this young 14-year-old was crazy, or did they think this was the most natural thing in the world?
These things, what on earth, Saiphin? Where is this come from? Yeah, and if I talk about this in my hometown, everyone just laughing because they said, from then, they always said to me, I knew that you're going to be an entrepreneur because you charge us money from very young age. Yeah. And then, so we actually, when I went back to my hometown, we always talk about when we was young and how I make the money out of my friends. Yeah. But it's not a bad way though, because, they got to the food to eat, but they have to pay for me. It's not. Yeah.
How did the move to Hong Kong come about?
So when I was 17 years old, I'm growing my vegetable on the farm. I'm listening to the radio, and there is the advertising about job opportunity in Hong Kong as a nanny. And I have no idea where Hong Kong is. And when the first, I thought Hong Kong is somewhere in Thailand. I have no idea. And I listened to this radio, and then I said, oh, right, that's it, job as a nanny, and the salary is 7,500 pounds. So that is 7,500 baht. So that is about 35 years ago. And then I look at it, and I said to myself, I want to go and work as a nanny. I'm still at the school. Yeah, I think I'm probably 17. Yeah, I still at the school. And I asked my friends, would you go with me for interview? We have to take the bus from our home, which is the bus is only 2 times a day. It's about an hour and a half on the bus on the top of the mountain. I have to go right down to labor department of my province. And so I went there, and my friend said, no, I don't want to go. Why don't you go? And if a good future, or there is a good job, I will follow you. And so there you go, Saiphin, 17 years old, jump on the bus, going to the city, which is, I'm so nervous. I've never been to that city before. And I went in, I talked to one guy, and he said, what are you doing here? I said, I'm applying for the job as a nanny in Hong Kong. So where is Hong Kong? And he said, do you realize Hong Kong is another country? And I said, no. And I said, and then they asked me, now, can you speak English? Can you speak Cantonese? I said, no, not a word. And how can you go? But I still study. I think I'm at that time I'm in year 9. Yeah. I think, just before, 17. I'm on the year, no, actually, morning, so let me see. I think 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Yeah, year 11. And they said to me, here we go, this is a piece of paper. So if you got to read this and then memorize in your head, introduce yourself in English. Then you can come back to me. Then I will give you the form that you can just put it in, and then I will hand it to Bangkok that a job as a nanny. And then so in that piece of paper, told me to introduce myself, like my name's Saiphin, and I'm 17 years old. I can cook, I can do the ironing, and I love children, and things like that. And then she said to me, okay, you got to read this and then memorize it in your head, because if you can't do it, you can't go into Bangkok and have an interview with the agent. So I took that piece of paper with me all the way to my school, another province. On the way, just read that piece of paper. And then I went into my classroom, in a classroom. I don't even continue, I don't even concentrate with my study, because I concentrate on that piece of paper that I got to memorize that in my head. So a week later, I went back to the labor department. And then the guy said to me, okay, are you ready? I said, yes. So I don't even read that piece of paper. And then I tell them in English, introduce myself, what I can do, and what, why I want to go to Hong Kong. And then they just look at me. They said, oh my goodness, you've been busy. And then they said, okay, are you ready for tonight? I said, what do you mean? You got to go to Bangkok tonight to have an interview with the agent, with another 25 Thai lady who live in that province. In the city. And I said, oh my gosh, what I'm going to do? Because I have to take the bus to my hometown, another 1 hour and a half. And then I have to go and ask my parents if I can go to Bangkok. So I told them, what time is the bus that leaving the city? I said, you have to be here by 11 p.m. So it's really late. And then I went back to my parents and talked to my parents. And my parents said to me, are you sure you want to do this? I said, yes. I don't want to sit here, Mom, to be a farmer anymore. I want to go. And then, and she said, but how about your study? And so I said, Mom, if I got a job, I will go on to work. I don't really care about my study. And she said, okay, how are you going to do this? And I said to my mom, my noodle shop, I'm going to hand over to you, if you can look after them. And I will go, and I'm trying to get this job. I don't know where it is, but I think I want to leave my home. And my parents is really supported me from the beginnings. So they give me 700 baht to go to Bangkok at that night. So all the young girls, 25 of us, take this bus. It's about 6 hours from our hometown to Bangkok. So we leave 11 o'clock, arrive in Bangkok 5 a.m. And we're sitting there waiting for the office open. And we sat there from 5 until 9 a.m. And we look at it. I never see the lift before. And I saw people walk into the lift and disappear. And I'm just look at it, and I'm just wonder, what on earth, where is these people gone? And I'm just so amazed that the people going into the lift.
And disappearing.
And then I didn't know. And how stupid is that? But anyway, so 9 a.m., therefore the office lady came down. And then, okay, you guys, it's the time for you have the interview. So they took us to the lift. And then we just look at it. Oh my God, this is amazing. Yeah. So interview. And then they said, we are going to have the video of you guys. And we send it to Hong Kong if your employer chooses you, then, we can process all the visa and your passport and, all of those documents. And then you have to pay us 35,000 baht. And that time is a lot of money for us. But it's enough time for us to going back to our hometown and growing our vegetables to pay for all of these things. Yeah, so I applied for a job when I'm 17, and they told me I cannot go until I reach 18 years old. So 1 year, take me 1 year to prepare everything. And I got the employer trusted me right away, but they're waiting for me until I'm 18 because they think I can speak English, but actually I don't. And in that time, I'm also, I'm just learning how to speak English from dictionary.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
And tell me that first day when you were coming off the plane in Hong Kong.
I feel so nervous because I went to the airport on my own. And no, my parents, took the bus from our hometown and meet one lady. She's flying with me. She's never went to Hong Kong either. So two of us on the plane. It's just so nervous because, my goodness, what I'm doing. But I'm ready for it. I'm really ready. So when I'm applying for a job, and I always ask my teacher what Hong Kong is. Are they speak English? Are they speaking Cantonese? And I got a lot of people, helping me, and they will, like the agency, they told me where Hong Kong is and what the people like and what the people don't like, their language and their food and all of those things. So I basically learned, before I went to Hong Kong. So I went to Hong Kong, no word of English and Cantonese, waiting for my employer to come and pick me up all day. I'm just sitting and waiting. And there you go. He came and picked me up. And then he took me to his house. And then he got two kids, 2 years old and 4 years old. And his wife, and then they got another nanny who are doing a housework. And then I look after the kid. And then they asked me, "Are you from Thailand? Do you cook?" I said, "Yes, I cook." So my job, look after those two boys and cooking. So they just expect me to cook for them every meal. So I'm happy. Then I'm going to my part of my job is going to the market and shopping, buying food and learn the ingredients. And so I start cooking for them. And then they will have a party. And I'm just become their personal chef.
Wow.
Yeah. So I work with them for 6 months. And in that time, because I have to go out and buy all this food. And then I saw a Thai restaurant nearby, only one Thai restaurant at that time. And I went to see them. And I said to them, "Can I come and work with you guys?" And they said to me, "How old are you?" I said, I'm 19. And she said, "You have to go and ask your employer permission first before you come and work with me." So I went back home and then I talked to them. Tell you what, I am happy to work inside the house, look after the children and cook for you. But there is some things that I really want to do. I want to go and work in the Thai restaurant nearby. And would you be okay if I finish my job here and in the afternoon, in the evening, if I can go to work in the Thai restaurant? First they said no. And then I said, if you not allow me. So I think I want to go home because I cannot look after the kid. I'm still kid myself. I'm still only 19 years old. And I can't look after to the boys all the time. And then they said, okay, don't go home because so many people, trying to come here. And you don't want to lose this opportunity. Saiphin, why don't you finish work here and then you can go to work in Thai restaurant. I would take you to that Thai restaurant. So they are really, really, really good people. So they took me to a Thai restaurant and then tell them that, yes, we allow Saiphin to work in the Thai restaurant. And then, but she had to come home after she's finished work every single night. So I start working in a Thai restaurant in Kowloon City. I worked in the Thai restaurant for 2 years. I went into the kitchens, working as the waiter, and I basically everything's in that restaurant. So I learned. I got quite a few experience in there.
Yeah, that experience was very important for you, so wasn't it?
Yeah. And because go back to Thailand, when I set up my own noodle shop and things like that, I used my experience when I was young to work at this Thai restaurant, and they amazed at I know how to run the business and help them with a lot of things. And I told them that back to my hometown, I own my noodle shop. Yeah.
And Hong Kong to Jersey and back to Hong Kong. What happened?
Hong Kong, and then 1996, Hanover. No, 1997. But I leave before that because we are concerned about what's happening after that. But in that time, I'm already set up my grocery shop in Hong Kong. And then I set it up and have it for about 2 years and then sell with like a very good profit, and then move to Jersey.
Did you have a family at that stage? Did you, or did you have a husband? Or
yes, I met my ex-husband there. Okay. No, in Hong Kong.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, but he's still in Hong Kong while I moved to Jersey with the kid.
Yeah,
and that is our marriage is just gone.
Yeah,
because we live in separate country. And then when my marriage is falling apart, so I moved back to Hong Kong and set up my takeaway.
Okay.
Yeah. Then set up a restaurant. And again, I set it up and I make sure that my business is doing really well. And then I sold my business. And then I will go and set up another one. And that is just like a pet. What can I say? I think I set it up and then I make a profit. And then I sell my business with a really good profit. Then I'm just doing that, rolling over again, and again. So
that's a good model.
Yeah, exactly. That is the way I should say. I set the role model for myself. Yeah. That set something up and then make it perfect and then sell.
Yeah. And the move to London then, how did that come about?
So, because 15 to 18 years in Hong Kong, that is quite enough for me. And my children, they all live in Jersey, study, and I don't see them much. So one day I just get up and then I said, okay, that's it. I'm going to sell my restaurant and then move to England because I want to be close to my children. So move here with a very small money. But I mean, the money that I have is not enough to set up the restaurant anyway. So moved to London 2005 and took me three months. I searching the property and what can I do, how can I live? I don't have friends here. I don't really know anything about London. Know nothing. And a friend of mine came to visit. And then she's introduced me to her friends. And then he asked me, Saiphin, what are you doing now? I said, I do nothing. I'm trying to apply for a job as a chef or work in the restaurant. No one gave me a job because they said to me, no, you're too good. Yeah, you're too good to work for us.
Well,
And I said,
that was a good judgment, wasn't it?
yeah. I said, but they don't even give me a job. I said, anything. Can I work in your kitchen or something? He said, no. She said, okay, here we go. This is a book about a restaurant for sale. Why don't you look at it? Maybe you set up your own. I said, I set up my own? I have no idea. I don't know London. And then, so my friends asked me, Saiphin, what are you doing? I said, I do nothing at the moment, John. Can you help me? He said, I tell you what, I got the office in the London Bridge, Cotton Drive. And you can cook your food and sell in my canteen every Thursday. I'm going to ask my secretary if you can come and sell the food, but you got to sell very cheap. And in that time, only one portion is £4.50. And then I said, that is better than nothing. So, and he said, Saiphin, she said, yes, you can come to my canteen. So there you go. I cook for my house, my little apartment in Wapping every Thursday, 4 dishes.
Yeah.
And then sell at lunchtime, only lunchtime, 1 day a week. So and that is enough for me to keep going on my own, because in that time, my ex-husband don't even give me the money. Yeah. I have to earn my own income. So I make £200 a week.
Yeah, so you're up and running. You were moving again.
Yeah.
I hope you can join me on part 2, where we hear about the very first Rosa's Cafe in Spitalfields and how she grew this into a successful chain of restaurants across the UK. Thank you for listening to the Win Happy podcast, which has been brought to you by Fusion Communications. If you'd like to get in touch, feel free to send me an email at greg@fusion.ie. So until next time, take it easy.